Hello everyone. In continuation with our sessions of chemotherapy, now we are shifting to the next session, that is protein synthesis inhibitors. And among the protein synthesis inhibitor in today's class we are going to discuss macrolide antibiotics. Just to revise the classification of antibacterial agents based on their site of action, there are certain drugs which inhibit the bacterial metabolite synthesis like folic acid. This drug will inhibit the synthesis of the folic acid by the bacteria and thus inhibiting their growth. These drugs are included sulfonamide and trimethoprim, which we have discussed earlier. There are certain drugs which will act on the cell wall of the bacteria and inhibit the synthesis of the cell wall. These include beta-lactam antibiotics like penicillin, cephalosporin and others, and vancomycin like drugs which we have also discussed in our earlier sessions. One other important component of the bacteria is proteins. There are certain drugs which will inhibit the synthesis of the proteins, and drugs in this category are tetracycline, aminoglycoside, macrolide, clindamycin and chloramphenicol. There are other drugs which can act directly onto the bacterial DNA and inhibit the nucleic acid function or DNA synthesis. This category of drug include fluoroquinolone and rifampicin. There are certain drugs which disrupt the cell membrane like isoniazid and amphotericin B. These two we are going to discuss in subsequent lectures, but today we are starting with the protein synthesis inhibitors, that is macrolide. Some basic points about protein synthesis inhibitors are this mentioned here. They are selectively inhibiting the bacterial protein synthesis only, which means they does not have any action on the protein synthesis of the human cells. This selectivity is due to the differences between bacterial and human ribosomal proteins, RNA and associated enzyme. Bacteria have 70S ribosome with 50S and 30S subunit, while mammalian cells have 80S ribosomes with 60S and 40S subunits. So, the drugs which are designed specifically for the bacterial protein synthesis inhibitors, they cannot combine with the mammalian cell ribosomes. Thus, human cell protein synthesis is not affected by these drugs. Now we start with the macrolide group of antibiotics. Why these drugs are called as macrolide antibiotics? Because they are having microcyclic lactone ring in their structure. It is a group of antibiotic with a large cyclic lactone structure to which one or more deoxy sugars are attached. You can see here there is a large cyclic ring, lactone ring. Along with it there are deoxy sugars which are attached along with that. Antibiotics included in this category are erythromycin, roxithromycin, clarithromycin and azithromycin, of which erythromycin is considered as a prototype of macrolide antibiotics and rest of the drug were discovered after the erythromycin. Let's see the mechanism of action of macrolide group of antibiotics. Macrolides bind irreversibly to the 50S subunit of the bacterial ribosome and thus they inhibit the translocation step of protein synthesis. They also interferes with the transpeptidation steps and ultimately protein synthesis is inhibited. So initially they act as a bacteriostatic drug, but when used in high concentration they may act bactericidal drug. But by and large protein synthesis inhibitors and that too macrolide are bacteriostatic drugs. Here the mechanism of action is shown into the diagrammatic way. This is the bacterial ribosome consisting of 50S and 30S subunit. There are two sites, amino acid sites and transferase A site and P site, and here is the amino acid chain is attached which is transferred from the one site to the another. That step is called as translocation. Erythromycin, clindamycin, these are the drug, they bind with the 50S subunit, they bind here and thus they inhibit the translocation step, that is amino acid chain cannot transfer from one site to another site. So further protein synthesis cannot take place, further mRNA is not synthesized, further functional protein is not synthesized, and bacteriostatic effect is produced. If you use this drug into high concentration, you can achieve bactericidal action also. Now we see the mechanism of resistance. Usually we discuss mechanism of action and mechanism of resistance simultaneously because it will they are interrelated to each other. The mechanism of resistance for the erythromycin are that either the organism cannot take up the drug, that is inability of the organism to take up the antibiotic, or there is a presence of efflux pump, both of which limit the amount of the intracellular drug and make the drug ineffective for that bacteria. Sometimes what happens, there is decreased affinity of the 50S ribosomal subunit towards antibiotic. There is some change into the 50S ribosomal structure or function, because of which drug cannot combine with it and the drug becomes ineffective. The presence of plasmid associated erythromycin esterase enzyme is also there, which will destroy the erythromycin drug and produces resistance. Now we start with the erythromycin, which is prototype of macrolide group of drug. It is obtained from the Streptomyces erythraceus. If we see the antimicrobial spectrum of erythromycin, it is exactly like penicillin G. It is mostly active against gram-positive organism, and few gram-negative bacteria are also affected with erythromycin. The list is given here. It is effective against Streptococcus pyogenes, Streptococcus pneumoniae, Neisseria gonorrhoeae, Clostridia, diphtheria, Listeria. It is also effective against B. pertussis, Campylobacter, Legionella, B. catarrhalis, G. vaginalis and Mycoplasma. Other organisms which are still sensitive to erythromycin are H. influenzae, H. ducreyi and S. viridans, Chlamydia trachomatis and Rickettsia. Because of the widespread use of erythromycin into the practice, as of now, few bacteria has developed resistance with the erythromycin. These bacteria are Staphylococci, some of the Streptococci and Enterobacteriaceae are now resistant to erythromycin. There is cross resistance with other macrolides also exist. There is also cross resistance with chloramphenicol and clindamycin. So if the bacteria is resistant with the erythromycin, you cannot use any other macrolide group of drug. You cannot use chloramphenicol or clindamycin for that bacteria. You have to choose other options. Now we see the pharmacokinetics of erythromycin. Some interesting points are mentioned here. Erythromycin is a drug which is usually given orally, but food delays the absorption of erythromycin, so it is better to take the drug on empty stomach. Erythromycin base by chemical structure is acid labile, so when it is taken orally, it is likely to be destroyed by the HCl, because acid can destroy the erythromycin base and make the drug ineffective. That is why it is always produced as an enteric coated tablet. Enteric coated tablet is a cover which protects the destruction of a drug into the HCl. Other option is erythromycin is produced as a acetolate salt, which is acid stable and it is better absorbed. So either you give erythromycin enteric coated tablet or erythromycin acetolate salt, so that destruction into the GIT can be prevented. The drug is widely distributed into the body, but it cannot cross blood-brain barrier. That is why macrolides are not useful drug for the treatment of meningitis. The drug is mainly excreted into the bile and partly metabolized into the GIT only. It is excreted through the biles and kidney. Dose of erythromycin is 250 to 500 mg 6 hourly, which means erythromycin has to be administered 4 times a day. It is available into the market as tablet of 250 and 500 mg, suspension of 100, 125 and 250 mg per 5 ml and oral drops of 100 mg per ml. So it can be used as oral formulation into adults as well as into pediatric patients. One important pharmacokinetic parameter which everyone should remember is that erythromycin, clarithromycin, telithromycin, these are the drugs, they act as a cytochrome P450 enzyme inhibitor. What is cytochrome P450 enzyme? These are the enzyme which is responsible for metabolism of most of the drugs inside the body. And when these hepatic enzymes are inhibited, metabolism of other drugs is reduced. Which drugs are affected? Atorvastatin, carbamazepine, cycloserine, simvastatin, theophylline, valproate, sodium and many other drugs metabolism reduces. So end result is their serum concentration increases and may lead to toxicity of this drug. So with erythromycin, clarithromycin and telithromycin, there are many important drug interactions which you should remember before prescribing. Now we see the adverse drug reactions of erythromycin. When given orally, its first adverse drug reaction, it affects the GIT, it produces epigastric pain and gastritis as a side effect. One important side effect is erythromycin stimulate the motilin receptors into the GIT and thus it increases the GIT motility which produces colic or diarrhea as a side effect. Larger doses may cause reversible hearing impairment and drug is not advisable to give with other ototoxic drugs. It may produce hypersensitivity reaction which includes skin rashes and fever. It may produce reversible cholestatic jaundice and ultimately hepatitis because drug is largely excreted into the bile and may affect the gallbladder function. And drug interaction as mentioned earlier, these drugs are hepatic CYP450 enzyme inhibitor. So they inhibit the metabolism of valproate, theophylline, carbamazepine, warfarin, ergotamine, estimazole, terfenadine, cisapride, etc. And these are narrowtherapeutic index drug and their toxicity may increase which require patients monitoring. So coming to the therapeutic uses of erythromycin. Erythromycin is mostly used as an alternative to penicillin. It is used as an alternative to penicillin into those patients who are allergic to penicillin or those patients who are not willing to take injection penicillin. As alternative to penicillin, it is useful for treatment of streptococcal pharyngitis, tonsillitis and pneumonia. It can be used for the prophylaxis of rheumatic fever and subacute bacterial endocarditis. It can also be used for the treatment of diphtheria, tetanus, gas gangrene, syphilis and gonorrhea where penicillin is drug of first choice. But if patient is allergic to penicillin, then second choice is erythromycin. Erythromycin itself is drug of choice for few conditions like whooping cough also called as pertussis. It is also drug of choice for atypical pneumonia and chancroid which is one of the sexually transmitted disease. It is used as drug of second choice into treatment of Campylobacter enteritis where fluoroquinolones are drug of first choice and if they fail you give erythromycin. It is drug of second choice for Legionnaire's pneumonia where azithromycin or ciprofloxacin is drug of first choice and if fail you can give azithromycin. It is drug of second choice for Chlamydia trachomatis where drug of first choice is azithromycin. This was about erythromycin as prototype drug. Now we are shifting to discussion on the other macrolide group of antibiotics. Now we will be discussing only differences among of this drug with the erythromycin. Roxithromycin is a longer acting drug which, which helps the patient to take twice daily dosing. It is also acid stable drug. It is more effective on B. catarrhalis, Legionella, G. vaginalis and it has very less effect on B. pertussis. It has better GI tolerance than erythromycin and it has very less severe drug interaction as compared to erythromycin, clarithromycin and telithromycin. So it is one of the better alternative to erythromycin. Why? Because it is longer acting, it is acid stable, it is better tolerated by GIT and less severe adverse drug reactions. It is available as 150 to 300 milligram tablet twice a day. Tablet available into the market as a strength of 150 and 300 milligram and kit tablet of 50 milligram. 50 milligram per 5 ml liquid is also available for pediatric use. Next drug in macrolide antibiotic is clarithromycin. Its spectrum of action is resembling with the erythromycin, plus additional organisms which are added with clarithromycin are Mycobacteria, Mycobacterium avium complex, Mycobacteria lepri, Bacteroides fragilis and H. pylori. Food delays the absorption of clarithromycin and half-life increases with the dose every 6 to 9 hours. It is indicated into the treatment of URTI, LRTI, sinusitis, atypical pneumonia, skin infection, H. pylori, tuberculosis, especially into the AIDS patient and leprosy treatment. Clarithromycin is a drug which is reserved for H. pylori and leprosy treatment. Dose is 250 to 500 milligram to be given twice a day. Tablet is available as 250 and 500 milligram strength. It is available as dry syrup of 125 and 250 milligram every 5 ml. Adverse drug reactions to clarithromycin are: it is comparatively better GI tolerated. Rarely it may lead to rhabdomyolysis, pseudomembranous colitis, and safety of the drug during pregnancy and lactation is not known. That is why better not to use this drug during pregnancy. Now we come to the next drug of macrolide antibiotic, that is azithromycin. Azithromycin is probably one of the most frequently used antibiotic in current practice. It has more effect on H. influenzae, gonococci, chlamydia, mycoplasma, legionella, moraxella catarrhalis, C. jejuni, resistant Staph aureus and Mycobacterium avium complex. The drug is acid stable, so GIT related problems are very less. There is no need to produce enteric coated tablet or ester salt or anything like that is not required for the production of azithromycin. The drug is having very good intracellular penetration and it is concentrated into macrophages and phagocytes. That is why the drug can concentrate at the site of infection and inflammation where macrophages and phagocytes are more in number. The drug releases slowly into the GIT and half-life may be more than 50 hours, which leads to once daily dosing of azithromycin. It is available as 250 and 500 milligram capsules and syrup of 250 milligram per 5 ml for pediatric patient. Adult dose of azithromycin is 500 milligram once a day for 3 days. Because of its long duration of action, it is always given as single daily dose administration. Adverse drug reaction of azithromycins are very less. It is generally better tolerated. It may lead to headache, mild gastric pain. Drug interaction which are common with erythromycin, they are very much less with azithromycin, but only risk is occasionally it can cause QT interval prolongation. So better not to prescribe azithromycin with any other cardiotoxic drugs like chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine. Coming to the therapeutic uses of azithromycin, it is drug of first choice for Legionnaire's disease, given as 500 milligram once a day oral or IV preparation for 2 weeks. It is also drug of first choice for all chlamydial infection. For chlamydial trachomatis induced urethritis, it is given as 500 milligram orally single dose. For lymphogranuloma venereum, it is given as 500 milligram orally once a week for 3 weeks. For trachoma, which is a chlamydial infection of eye, Usually we prefer tetracycline, but nowadays because of the resistance with tetracycline, we prefer azithromycin as drug of first choice. It is also drug of first choice for Leishmania donovanosis cause, and it is given as 500 mg once a day for 7 days. It is also given for the treatment of chancroid and penicillinase producing Neisseria gonorrhoeae urethritis, given as 500 mg single dose. So it is drug of first choice for almost all atypical infection. It is drug of first choice for Legionnaires disease, for all chlamydial infection, may it be trachoma, may it be respiratory tract infection, may it be pneumonia, or may it be sexually transmitted disease. Other uses of azithromycin are similar to penicillin, which include upper and lower respiratory tract infection, including community acquired pneumonia. It can also be used for the prevention of pneumonia by Mycobacterium avium complex in HIV patients. It is also useful for treatment of other sexually transmitted diseases, and it can be useful for the treatment of bacterial enteritis, which is caused by Salmonella and S. enterica, especially typhoid fever, paratyphoid, etc. They can be treated well with the azithromycin. Next drug into macrolide antibiotic category is telithromycin. It is not exactly macrolide antibiotic, it is called as ketolide because the structure is similar to macrolide. We discussed the drug here along with the macrolide, but the chemical structure or the ring is a ketone ring, not the lactone ring. It has same mechanism of action as erythromycin, it has same spectrum of antimicrobial activity as erythromycin. Some macrolide resistant strains are susceptible to telithromycin. That is why it is still useful for community acquired pneumonia and other respiratory tract infections where telithromycin is given orally as once daily administration. One newer drug has came in market recently, that is fidaxomicin. It is a macrocyclic antibiotic with a structure similar to macrolide, but it has very unique mechanism of action. It does not combine with the 30S or 50S ribosome specifically, but it acts on the sigma subunit of RNA polymerase enzyme, thereby disrupting bacterial transcription and terminating protein synthesis and resulting in cell death in susceptible organism. So this drug will act as a bactericidal drug. Fidaxomicin has a very narrow spectrum of activity which is limited to gram-positive aerobes and anaerobes. It possesses activity against staphylococci and enterococci, but it is mainly used against Clostridium difficile. Following oral administration, it has very minimal systemic absorption and primarily remains within the GIT. It does not get absorbed, it remains into the GIT where Clostridium difficile infection is there. That is why the drug is ideal for the treatment of C. difficile infection, which usually occurs into GIT. This characteristic also likely contributes to the low rate of adverse drug reaction, because when the drug is given orally and it remains into the GIT, does not get absorbed, so chances of adverse drug reactions are also very less. Sometimes hypersensitivity reaction may occur. Fidaxomicin should be used with caution in patients with macrolide allergy as they may be at increased risk of hypersensitivity with this drug. This finishes our discussion on macrolide group of antibiotics, and if you have any questions you can ask. Thank you.